All right, let's get your Stripe to issue tax compliant invoices via DDD Invoices plugin. This is a walkthrough tutorial, so feel free to follow along and let's get started. We're going to start by installing the plugin on your Stripe by clicking this link here, which will take us to the marketplace where we can install the DDD Invoices plugin. So we're just going to follow along the install wizard. Install successful, and this should bring us back to the Stripe dashboard where the plugin is loading. And as we see here, we have two windows to insert our email and text number. So I'm just going to grab the text number and I'll be right back. All right, so I've inserted my email and the text number. That is how to register via the plugin via the Stripe way. If you have found us through the Google and you registered on DDD Invoices dashboard, feel free to copy paste the connection key or the API key in this window here and click connect, and that will connect the Stripe and DDD. This way, we're coming from the Stripe side, so I'm just gonna click sign in. There you go, customer created successfully. And this action right now registered and connected Stripe with DDD Invoices plugin in the background. So the next step that we're going to do, we're going to go under settings. And we're going to modify the settings to align with our use case, as well as the what type of invoices we need to issue to ensure the compliance. We're going to click invoice auto processing on. So where every time a transaction is made in Stripe, this will also get sent to the DDD plugin and then later to the tax authority, as well as create electronic invoice, etc. And now we're going to decide about what specific steps we want to do, what specific workflow we want to do that our invoice data will go through. And in my case, I want to confirm the document, fiscalize it, meaning send it to the tax authority, and generate a PDF with fiscalization data. In this case, I also want to send an invoice via email, not only electronic invoice, but also PDF invoices and other things. I'm going to click save. Changes saved successfully. And that concludes the step 2 of our walkthrough tutorial. In step number 3, we need to ensure that your Stripe tax settings are set up correctly so that you'll be able to have the correct tax rates on the invoices sent from Stripe to DDD. So we're going to first check that your tax registrations are in place. As you can see, I'm registered here. Simply follow the guide to, I'm going to put Slovenia, Luka Doncic. Let's go. You just share the existing registration details to start collecting taxes. Essentially, make sure that you're registered with the tax authority and get your location set up here. The next thing we need to do is tax. We need to configure that and make sure that the taxes are put in the right place. So what you can do here is you can include tax in prices automatically. This is more for B2B versus B2C. Because we're mostly selling for B2B, we will not include tax in the purchase price, but the tax will be added, the VAT will be added on top of the price. If you're mostly B2C, you can tax include in the purchase price, or you can simply put it as automatic as well. That works well. Another thing we recommend you to use is you go under the settings, tax and integrations, and you enable Stripe tax, which will usually give you the correct tax rate on your transactions. But at the same time, you can also come under the product catalog and either enable automatic tax rates or also create additional tax rates and manually insert them and then connect that with the product so that it makes sure that your tax rates are essentially correct. All right, now let's finish the company setup in the DDD Invoices plugin. So you click on the circle here, and now let's go to the dashboard of DDD Invoices. All right, so we've come to the dashboard of the DDD Invoices infrastructure. And the first thing that we need to ensure is that all our data written here is correct. So I'm just gonna fast forward and ensure that the data here is correct, because this data will also will be seen on your invoices. So I'm gonna just insert a couple of details. So here this is our correct tax number, like this, registration number. The budget number is if you are a user of if you are proračunski uporabnik, essentially if you are a government institution. Not required to insert those things. We'll insert one normal mail, and if you also want to include your account information of your invoices for the bank transfers. We're gonna put here subsidiary, so tax number, VAT number, registration number, and this data, and then click here, right here, save. All right, quick walk through our platform. So we have a little bit of analytics on the first menu. Then here is where you're going to be seeing most of your invoices in the production as well as in the test. Received invoices, not super relevant here, but also available. In the settings, we're going to sort out how we're going to sort out any legal certificates we need to, which will come in the next step to push data to the tax authorities. We can modify and insert a website URL. As you can see, the data that we have inserted from before. The phone, stamp, logo, signature. We can include logo, and here you see the visualization of your invoice, and as well as the operation mode, which where we click to ensure that we are inserting and sending the data to the production environment of the tax authority portal. All right, so in this step, we need to insert authentication credentials so that we can actually send or deliver the invoice data to the right channel, to the right tax portal, to the e-invoicing network. And because those systems usually require some sort of authentication, we need to insert them here. So what we're seeing here is the outbound channels, which means that the data is going from the DDD platform to some other channel, so outbound. My inbound channels, inbound coming into the platform, and system managed channels, which is going through the platform. We're mostly here going to use the outbound channels because we're dealing with issued invoices, so invoices coming from Stripe into the DDD, and then from here outward. So what we have here, I'm seeing the Slovenian channels because I'm registered in Slovenia. You might be seeing something else, but almost certainly you will see mail sent as well as PayPal because these are, of course, universal. So what we have here is tax authority for fiscalization. I need to insert some sort of certificates. I need to modify unit, operator, as well as device. On mail sent, I can modify my reply to mail, my sender name, and I can also create some sort of template and modify it so it fits directly how I want the email to look like. And I can also send and add additional CCs or BCCs in order to send an invoice to perhaps an accountant automatically or other things. We have PayPal. For PayPal, you don't have to do anything because you're using our test certificate, so you can directly send an invoice the PayPal network, and we automatically in the background also generate the PayPal ID. Quick note about the steps that you're seeing right here. So these steps here are exactly the same steps as you're seeing here in the DDD Invoices steps, which means that the step 40, fiscalizing a document, is sending the data through the step 40 tax authority for fiscalization. Step 86 is sending it through the email, which would also here correlate to the step 86. Step 80 is sending it through the PayPal network, which is sending it through the PayPal network. So not all the steps here are channels. Email is, PayPal network is, tax authorities, and sending to the tax authority for fiscalization purposes is. Some of them are simply generation of invoice document, like for example, 50, step 55, or step 45. So some are channels, some are generation, but that's how you make a workflow. All right, I finished the process of setting up the channel for fiscalization in Slovenia. So now let's get to some testing and switching to production. So we will now test the first invoice and test the fiscalization method, but rest assured, nothing is moving to the production environment because we still haven't switched to the production. Now we'll just make a small test invoice with some small amount of money, just to ensure that the whole system is operating as intended. And for that, we'll be using a test environment with tax authority of actually DDD invoices, not even your own certificate. So I'll just insert a new customer myself, make sure that the currency is there. We're gonna put some small amount. All right, no address added. There we go. So we have to add the customer's address in order for the customer shipping information. There you go. I think it just needs the country. I think that should be enough. Yep, that's it. Okay, sweet. So we have that in place. Request information. You can modify this as needed. Review invoice. And we'll finalize and send as well. So, go. Invoice sent. And we'll now actually perform the payment as intended through the Stripe. So we make sure everything is in place. I'll just go to pay that invoice. All right. So I just went to the email, paid an invoice, got a confirmation on the phone, as well as the bank had to do the bank confirmation. And now I'm just gonna refresh the page, and there you go. The invoice has been paid. So now I'm in the invoice, and I can actually check and see what happened with that invoice. There you go. And the invoice was automatically, because we had decided for auto processing, was validated, confirmed, and also sent via email. And I can now come here and see that PDF invoice. And don't worry, everything happened in the test environment of tax authority, but the invoice is here in the test mode. So because I have selected step 86, I can also come in here, and as you see, I have also received an email, or the buyer, in this case me, has received the PDF invoice, which has been fiscalized in the test environment. So everything is working as expected. Everything is done in a sufficient way, and I could, if I would be in the production, I could also be able to simply void that invoice. Of course, first you would need to issue credit note, or if you were in the payment link, you would simply, or the transactions here, I think here, in the transactions, you would simply refund the invoice, and then you would have to go into the invoices and have to refund that by this button, which I just showed you, essentially void, because you are refunding the payment and then you are voiding the transaction to the government portal. And now, of course, the last step, once this was tested, we come back to the DDD Invoices dashboard, which we can do through here, dashboard. And you should be able to see the invoice. There you go. In here as well as a preview, and of course the PDF version of it as well, with the correct taxes and etc. with everything. So the last thing that you need to do is to simply switch to the production like this, missing at least one non-trial package. All right, one more thing. Of course, to go under the payments and billing, you upload the credit amount equal or bigger to the payment plans that you find under this step. And we always recommend you to switch to auto recharge on, so that you keep your credit balance topped up in an automatic way. And every end of the month, we'll bill you for the amount of your package, as well as any amount of invoices or transactions that went over uh, the amount of invoice that you have purchased with the package on a pay-as-you-go basis. Okay, I've uploaded the funds. We'll switch now to the production environment. There you go. The system is now in the production environment. So now we can go back to Stripe and let's try to make one more invoice. All right, we've switched to the production. Now let's make one more invoice. We are in the production environment this time. So what this means is that we're going to have to void the transaction afterwards if we don't want to pay taxes on it. Save, collect tax automatically. There we go. Works absolutely the same. Review invoice, finalize and send. There you go. We have the invoice in the system. The invoice has not been fiscalized yet. So now we have received an invoice. That's the invoice received. Pay the invoice. Gonna pay. All right, the invoice was paid. Let's refresh the screen. The invoice has been paid. And if everything works well, the invoice should successfully be fiscalized. Let's see the PDF invoice. And as you see, this is now in the real production environment of the tax authority portal. Okay. So we'll now also void it for the purposes of this not being charged to the government portal. So we're going to go to the transactions. We're going to press here refund payment, testing, refund. There you go. Payment was cancelled, refunded. I'm going to go back to the transactions, check this invoice. That was the production invoice. And you're also going to void that invoice. There you go. Invoice void successfully, and that's it. Now you're good to go. Okay, that concludes the setup of the system for the fiscalization, as well as for DDD Invoices Stripe plugin. So hope you learned something from this tutorial, and happy growing of your business. Talk to you soon.